Well, good afternoon. We're prepping for a storm. We figured we'd do a quick video. So we've got Hurricane Category 5 just off the coast of Florida, and we've known about it for a few days. So what we're going to do is we've been prepping the whole time and getting everything ready. So we'll throw some stuff together and let you see what we do. All right, talk to you soon. So you know what they say? They say good things come from bad situations. Well, we have a hurricane off the coast of Florida, Hurricane Dorian, and you know it's bad that it's coming, and a lot of people are going to suffer from it. A lot of rain, a lot of wind. We're lucky it's tracking a little bit east of the coast. So with that being said, we're still going to get a ton of wind. It's going to drop down to probably a Cat 4 by the time it gets even with us. And so what we got to do is we've been prepping. You know, even though we may only get wind, we may end up getting a bunch of tornadoes off of this storm. So what we're doing is we're picking up all the loose things that could fly in the air and hit our neighbors' homes, or hit our homes, hit our horses. And this video is just really simply going to show you some of the things that we do. It's not necessarily everything that you would need to do, but we're just going to cover a few things that we're doing so that you guys can maybe start making your own checklist for, you know, hurricane preparedness. So we'll catch you in just a few seconds here. Well, you know, like I said, good comes out of bad situations earlier. At least now I'm getting to pick up all the stuff that I've been procrastinating, like our old jump field. All the wood was starting to rot and termites were getting to it. So at least we got to pick all that stuff up and get it out of here. This way it'll be safer. It won't be flying around in case a tornado hits it. You know, that's always a positive thing. So now we're just picking up stuff out of the arena and that we use to do lessons and whatnot, and we're getting all that picked up and secured so we don't have to worry so much. And then we'll start dealing with the horses, you know, getting them tagged and make sure that everybody is got some kind of identification on them, because we never know. In these kind of storms, your fence line could be 100% secured, which we already went and secured our fence lines just a couple days ago. Made sure there was no trees down on anything already, and you know that everything was secure, the wires weren't broke, so the horses don't try to leave. But like I said, anything can happen. You can see our tree line is right on our fence line, and it really goes all the way around the whole perimeter of the property. You can see it all the way back there, all the way up above the roof, and then all the way across the back. So we're surrounded by trees, and they're right on our perimeter tree line. So we already checked that out, made sure everything was safe. But we went over to Tractor Supply and picked up some extra wire and extra posts and things like metal posts, so that we can be here in case anything breaks. We'll be able to do a real quick fix and secure everything. So, you know, like I said, it's just being able to prep and make sure you can kind of like think ahead of what could happen. You know, look at your property and start looking at, well, what if? And then try to prep for that. So we're picking all this stuff up and getting everything out of the arena, and then we'll start working with horses. So we'll talk to you in a minute. As you can see, it's raining already, and we're just finishing up tagging some of these horses. So we're inside right now. We're show you how to do one of these little guys real quick, so you have an idea of what we're doing. We already started tagging, so we braid into the main, and then we take these little hospital bands. If you have a horse that's really big, like a Percheron or something like that, you can go ahead and just throw the tag up. That's it. We do one on each of their feet in case they rip them off. They usually will stay on for a month or longer even. If perfect scenario. Just in case, we just go ahead and put 4 of them on it. And just got the name of the barn and the phone number on it. We also leave a halter on them in case they do get off property. You know, if somebody walks up on them, it's a lot easier for them to catch the horse. Good girl. One last one here. Go ahead, you walk her that way. And that's it. That's how easy we do it. We do every horse on the property that way for all of our boarders and our own personal horses. And well, that's the biggest tip that we can give you. So let's stop for a second, take a break, and I figured I'd just go ahead and go over a quick list of things that you might want to consider doing before a storm comes. And one of the things you definitely want to do, if you're on well water, you have to really want to consider, if you lose your electric, you're not going to have any water unless you have a free-flowing well. So you might want to go ahead and get yourself a generator, something that you can tap into your well with and be able to run water, because who knows how long you'd be without electricity depending on where you're at in comparison to where the storm is landing and how far away you are from, you know, all the electric poles and all that stuff that supplies you your power. So water is a major thing. So saying that, it makes sense to, just prior to the storm, cleaning everything that you have that has water in it, all your water troughs, clean them really good, get them scrubbed out, and refill them and top them off till they're overflowing. In my case, I've got about 4 different big troughs that we have outside for the horses, and then we have 16 more inside. So we fill everything and we top them off to the top so that we have water in case we need to, you know, a couple of days to prep the generator and get everything working if we don't have power. Another thing is, if you have an electric fence and you're using an electric fence to, you know, retain your horses and keep your horses on property, you might want to go ahead and invest in a solar unit, so that the solar unit can go ahead and take up the place of your electric fence during that time that you're waiting. I know it's an expensive investment, but it's definitely worth it to keep your horses in. Something else you might want to do on your checklist is identifying your horses, marking your horses down. Make sure you have a list of every horse. Make sure that you have you know, a description of the horse, pictures of your horse, and then after you have all that, you know, I would definitely do something like this. I don't know if you can see this. These are wristbands that people use for like different events, like, you know, I don't know. You pay to get into some place and you can put this band on your wrist and you can go ride the rides or whatever. You can pick these up on eBay for next to nothing. They're waterproof. You write on them with a Sharpie marker so that it doesn't so it doesn't bleed when it gets wet. And what I do is I take these and I place the name of my business on it, as well as the phone numbers, and I put one on each leg of the horse. Now, I don't put these on until just before the storm, when I know that it's imminent that we're going to have some really bad weather. And if it's in the middle of storm season, I put them on. I don't take them off. I'll leave them on until, hurricane season's over, because there's no point in redoing it over and over again. That's a great way of identifying. The reason I use 4 of them is horses, man, they'll rip things off. So I got 4 chances of that staying on. Also, we put, I tell my boarders, I said, go ahead and get dog tags and braid the dog tags into their mane. Also, we put halters on every one of the horses, make sure that they're snug, and the halters even have identification marks written on them, phone numbers. The reason for the halter is if the horse gets off the property, it makes it a lot easier if a stranger walks up to a horse and can get close enough to the horse to grab that halter versus a horse with nothing on them. You guys, if you have horses, you know what I'm talking about. You have horses of your own that you've gone out there with no halter and lead rope and tried to catch them, and you couldn't even get a rope on them sometimes, right? And these are horses that you've had for a while. So what else did we do? Make sure that you walk your fence line, make sure the fence line is secure all the way around, and go ahead and purchase some extra things to do quick repairs on the fly. Like you might have wood post fencing. Wood post fencing has a lot more chance of breaking down than wire fence with the metal post. Just because if you have 3-4 boards, the wind catching those boards puts a lot of stress on them if the winds are anywhere from 150 to 200 plus mile an hour winds. Real quick repair is to just run out and sink a couple of these metal 6-foot posts into the ground on both sides of the broken area, and then run electrical wire across it. You don't have to hook electric to it, but what it does is it definitely stops the animals from just walking through, and you can also secure the board to that with the wire as well. So that's just another hint, helpful hint for you. What else? Oh, if you have freezers on your property, another thing you could do is, throughout the year, save your 2-liter soda bottles, fill them up with water, and just throw them in your freezer. Because if your power is off for a few days, if you have 10 or 15 2-liter bottles frozen in there and you don't open them, your freezer's going to stay pretty good. It's not going to, you're not going to lose your meat and things like that. Make sure you pick up any debris that can fly. We just emptied out our old jump arena, which is something that we've been procrastinating on doing. We had to get rid of all that wood anyways, so this storm has forced us to do that. We've gotten all that out of there, and then all the equipment that I use for the arena to do lessons for jumping and barrels and poles and all that, so that's all out as well. Tell your boarders, if you're a boarding facility, tell your boarders to go ahead and get their tack out of there. Take their stuff, and you're not responsible for their stuff. They are. So have them take their stuff out of your facility unless you have a concrete barn and the tack room is secured in such a way that there's no way that the storm could rip it apart. One of the things we will do right before the storm gets here is we're going to let all the horses run free on the property. People probably think that's crazy. But depending on what type of barn you have, my barn is all wood, it's all recycled telephone poles. I don't have to worry about termites, but I do have to worry about 200-mile-an-hour winds hitting that barn and, taking slats off, panels off it, maybe a fire getting caught because of electric or whatever it may be. I don't want to take a chance of horses getting pinned underneath the wood, the roof, or anything else like that. So they have a better chance of being out in the field and pastures than they do being in the barn. I mean, not everybody agrees with that, but that's just the way we do it here. Right after the storm, the event's usually about 1 to 2 days. Your horses are going to be wet for long periods of time. Hopefully you're on high ground. We're on very high ground, so no water soaks, no water stands here. But the rain hitting the horses will cause some issues with their skin. So right after the storm is done and it's moved out, You want to wash all your horses down real good. A lot of these storms carry bacterial diseases and all kinds of different things in the air that can get into your horse's skin. What we do is we'll wash them down with just a regular old shampoo. I'll throw some Providine in it, or iodine in the soap, wash them down real good, and then scrape them off, and then we spray them down with Listerine. This helps kill any additional germs that might be on them. It may stop from getting rain rot and all that other nasty stuff that they get right after these long storms. So that's really about it. You remember anything else I should tell these folks? Oh yeah. So if you have special needs horses, make sure that you have all of your medications, you know, put in a cooler and have them iced down so that you have everything that you need. And you probably want to keep that stuff inside your pickup truck, you know, in something that you know is definitely secured, because God knows what could go flying through your barn and then take out all your medications that you need for your horses that need special things, you know. So yeah, just like people, you have to have your medicines lined up. And if you know that you're running low before the storm, go fill your scripts, get them done before the storm gets here so you have them. Because shoot, when Irma came through, what was it? Was it last year? Was it last year or 2 years ago? Yeah, it was a couple years ago. Irma came through here. It wasn't really bad, but let me tell you something. It did a lot of damage. It tore up lots of fence line, and you know, it spawned quite a few tornadoes, which I'm more scared of the tornadoes than anything. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, when you have these wet storms, you have to worry about these big trees coming down on top of your fence line, and these oak trees can't handle their own weight when the ground gets so up and wet for 48 hours. So make sure you have a chainsaw. Yeah. Extra feed. You know what we did? We loaded up on hay, so we have big hay rolls. But you know, the hay rolls get wet too. So we went ahead and bought alfalfa cubes. We loaded up on alfalfa cubes yesterday at Rural King so that we had alfalfa cubes. Made sure that we had a ton of food here just to hold us over until you know, everything cleared up and the roads were good to drive on again. So all right, I hope this video helps out. I know it's not one of my regular videos, and I apologize for not being on so much, but we've been taking care of a lot of things here with upgrades. We're actually getting ready to start a project, and we're going to put in some brand new wash racks. We're going to do a video on that. We're also doing the giant semi-tire waterers. We're working on that as well, and a couple other really cool projects that we'll share with you. And then I'll go ahead and do some simple videos as well in upcoming, like simple things like how to worm a horse, you know. I know the veterans know everything about it, but you know, a lot of the videos that I try to do are towards the beginner, somebody that's just, you know, just learning. All right, so I guess that's it. You guys be safe, and I'm getting a little bit of rain right now, so be safe and be blessed. Hey, if you like the video, go ahead and do a thumbs up, like it. If you're not a subscriber, do me a favor and subscribe, because it helps us, and who knows, one of your friends might need to see some of this cool stuff, and you can share it with them. All right, from RK Stables in Keystone Heights, Florida. Love you, man. Be good. See you soon. We'll see you on the other side of the storm. Take care. This was an RK Stables production. Thank you for watching, and have a blessed day.